Okay, so I'm going to be going over how to dice a carrot. Dicing is a general term. It just means to cut something into a cube. You can have medium dice, which is 1/2 inch on each side, small dice, 1/4 inch, fine dice, 1/8 inch, even down to extra fine dice, which is 1/16 of an inch on each side. Well, I'm taking my knife out of the drawer, which means I'm going to use my honing steel on it. I like to just do it like this, straight down. I'm not going to hold it out to the side going, because then I'm waving a knife around the kitchen, generally a bad idea, and it's really hard to hold that angle that I want the whole time. So I hold it straight down like this. I use the hilt here as a guide. I hold that angle, just run it down, probably about 6 times total. 5, 6, good. All right. And then I'm going to dice these carrots. So first I want to peel them. Now, a lot of people don't realize that a vegetable peeler works in both directions. So rather than going the whole way, I can just calmly go up and down, up and back the whole way. And I like to keep a bowl just for the waste right next to the cutting board. Saves me trips to the garbage bin. All right, take the ends off too. Now I want to dice this. A dice is a cube. Well, there's a problem with that. I don't have a square object here. So I have to square up the sides. I'm going to cut this into a manageable size, something like that. Set the other end aside. And now I'm just going to square up one side. So I'm going to go right up to the edge here. And just chop down like that. Okay, now I have a flat edge, which is actually really nice for round vegetables because that makes it safe. It's not going to roll around. I'm just going to keep doing that. Keep repeating that step with the other 4 sides, other 3 sides. And now I have a square. Okay, looks pretty good. It's pretty big though, so I'm going to cut that down, get something closer to 1/4 inch on each side. Now for all these cuts, I am holding my knife all the way down here. That's really where I'm gripping the thing. And the reason I'm doing that, some people like to put their weight up here on the knife. Well, that's a lot of room to wobble, right? There's a lot of vertical space between me and the cutting surface. And by choking up on it, going all the way down, grabbing it on the bottom with a pinch grip, there's no way for that to wobble, right? My hand is as low as the knife is going to get. Okay, so here I am. I cut these into smaller rectangular prisms, and I just have to make them as long as they are wide. Okay, pretty good. And there you have it. Those are my, I call those small dice. It's about 1/4 inch on each side. I'm pretty happy with that. One thing I will say about dicing is it's very visually appealing, not always necessary. Like all this over here, that's a lot of edible carrot that just got removed. It's being tossed to the side because you have to cut it off to get a square shape. So if you're just making a stew for yourself, making something at home, dicing often isn't necessary. But if I'm going to make a really good looking fried rice dish, or I'm cooking for company, then I will go the extra step. And instead of just chopping that carrot, I'll go ahead and dice it. Well, something else you can do with a carrot, you may have heard the term matchstick. Again, I'm going to cut this to a more manageable size. Same thing, I'm squaring up the sides. Back to my square shape. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this down pretty much as close as I can get to the edge without this carrot losing its structural stability, I'm going to be cutting these very narrow little sheets off. I'm going to do that to the whole thing. There we go. So now I have these very narrow shanks. Tried to get them all pretty much as small as I can go, which is about a 1/16 of an inch. Stack some of them up so I don't have to do so much work. Set that one aside. There we go. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hold them very tight, making sure I only have my knuckles facing the blade. I don't want my fingertips under that. I'm going to do the exact same thing again to this stack. I'm going to go at that from the side here. And for your first time doing this, I would just do one, maybe two at a time. And when you have a little bit more practice, then it might be okay to start stacking them up, maybe 3 or 4 to go. But when you're new to this, you want to start small. There we go. Okay, so the pretty obvious where they get the name matchstick cut for that. You may have heard the term julienne. Julienne is the French term for this cut. That is a matchstick cut. It's a julienne cut. It's the exact same thing. One last thing I can do, square these up. I told you about the fine dice, the 1/16 inch on each side, or as they call it, a brunoise cut. That's the French name. If I square these up on one edge like that, I can go ahead and do the same cut one last time. That to the side. Now you can see there is that fine dice I was talking about. That's 1/16 inch all around. Oops. There you go. So these, I think they're very visually appealing. They have a very nice texture to them. It adds a little bit of crunch without a ton of that carrot flavor. So you can throw that into some vegetable dishes right at the end if you want to have some more texture added to it. Also, conversely, you can throw this in at the beginning of a stew for carrots or for other vegetables too, especially with tomatoes. That's how you make a sauce. You take a tomato down to this size, to the fine dice size, and that's how you make a tomato sauce. That's how you start it, anyway. Okay, add those over here. And there you have it, how to make small dice and fine dice and how to matchstick a carrot.